Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about a really big problem with Facebook advertising, and I've come up with a solution to deal with this problem, despite the fact that it goes into the realms of definitely being chaotic evil. Now, Apple's been recently updating their systems and services and has allowed more personal protection of data. So, for example, if you're on an iOS, if you're using iOS on any of your systems, you have an iPhone, anything like that, or an iPad, as I have. Um, you've got a lot more control over the adverts, for example, which Facebook will send you, and the way that they can track your user data. Now, when we all sign up to the platform of Facebook, we all agree to the same set of terms and conditions. This is really, really important in terms of the way that equality is in the world. I'm very much for equality, personal equality, and equality of all races and people. So I think that everybody should have to follow the same rules and conditions. Now, there are two sort of ways which Facebook can deal with this, and funnily enough, I actually advocate towards the darker side of things with this because I do believe that if we opted for the good option, it would destroy Facebook as a platform. Not that I would really be against that at this point, but it's important to mention. So the good version would be that Facebook looks at the way that Apple has put data protection in place, and basically they bring forward the idea that other people have got the right on their accounts to restrict the adverts in much the same way that Apple are doing, and they would make it easy for people to restrict advertising in that way. Now, there are ways to restrict advertising on your Facebook account. However, this is not what this video is about. But the way that I would personally deal with this, and I know that it is evil, is I would prohibit people who are using Apple products from accessing Facebook, downloading apps. I would take the Facebook app off of the App Store, because the fact of the matter is we're dealing with one of the most popular social media platforms in the world, and that would basically force, because a lot of Apple users, even myself included, we spend most of our time going through Facebook on phones and everything like that. By putting a rule in place like this, which prohibits Apple users from actually accessing Facebook, how many people are going to go on a platform when they're addicted to social? They're going to use an Apple product when they're addicted to a social media platform, because that's one of the main problems with these social media platforms. So my general thoughts are the way that I would deal with this is if I was Facebook is I'd restrict Apple users from actually accessing Facebook, and that would basically reduce the amount of Apple products that were being bought on the market, and it would cause the company to basically have to roll back, most likely the case, some of the data protection elements in regard to Facebook. Because the thing is, when it comes to what users agree to on Facebook, they're agreeing to their data being used in a certain way. It's kind of interesting that the way that the Facebook Pixel actually works in terms of data protection as well, because when you sign up to Facebook, you also sign up to being tracked by Facebook Pixels, which are put in other websites, and a lot of websites in their privacy and in their privacy notes do not mention that your data is being tracked and recorded by Facebook, which I think is absolutely horrible. I think in terms of data protection, I'm very much for users protecting their data as much as possible. And I do find it weird that companies such as Facebook and Google copy this information so much, and like they take so much of this information in order to show their algorithmic choices. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to end up wittering at this rate. So to round off everything, definitely for data protection. I'm definitely for equality, so equality of use. I do think Facebook needs to change its rules and regulations to allow users to protect their data a lot more. Maybe even having it so that people can apply the iOS settings to their Facebook like an app which is recommended by Facebook, so that they would have the personal choice of seeing those ads. That would be the lawful good way of doing things. But I do think that Facebook should restrict access to people using Apple platforms, because I think that's the best way for them to survive as a platform. If you've got any questions for me at any point, just feel free to ask them. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Once my hand heals up, I will be playing more Space Station 13. Anyway, you have a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me. And to those of you who's sat through to the end, just shoot me a little message. Let me know that you got here, and you can ask me a question about anything. I'll answer. I'm always happy to respond. Anyway, you have a good day. Take care, and let me know what you think of my solution, because I really appreciate that.